Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma, Rabbi irzuqni ilma. Allahumma aril haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'a wa aril batila batilan warzuqna ijtinaba wa tawakkal 'ala wa kafa billahi wakila. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, subhanallahi al-azim. There is a very powerful hadith with a weak chain of verification, but a powerful hadith. It's been narrated by Sheikh Umar Suleiman as well, and Sheikh Noman, not Sheikh, but Noman Ali Khan. And the hadith states that one of the signs of Roze Hashar is that before the arrival of Dajjal, there will be 3 years of drought. And in the first year, Allah will command the sky and the earth to take back 1/3 of their provisions. In the second year, Allah will command them to take back 2/3 of their provisions. In the third year, He will command them to take back all of their provisions. And the Sahabi who were listening to this from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam became so scared. It's like, how will we survive? How will we live? And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, what sustains people? So when they asked what sustains people during that time, he said, Tahlil, takbir, and tahmid. La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, and alhamdulillah. This will sustain them just as food does. What are we feeding? And where is this nutrition coming from? When we see ourselves, when we are asked to describe ourselves, inevitably we would see the reflection that we look at, the body of us. We know that pretty well. But in this moment, what I'm going to ask us to do, and we know this because this is the 8th step that we are on. If it were a ladder, which it is not. If it were a ladder, it will be a spiral staircase and a bouncing ball. I don't know what I'm saying. So what we're going to visualize is that because we're on the 8th step already, we're going to close our eyes. We're going to, from the eye of our heart, we're going to allow ourselves to see the body reflection of us, as if we're standing in front of a mirror. And in that mirror, you can see your reflection of your body, the way that you can. This one is not a biggie right now. And we allow ourselves to lean into the mirror. And you notice your forehead, you notice your eyebrows, you notice your eyes, you notice the color of your hair. If you want to check how many white hair you have, you can. You notice the shape of your face. You notice your neck. Focus on our face right now. You notice how your hands are against your skin, wrinkled, dark, soft, just dry, whatever. Notice the texture of your hands. You're really immersed in your reflection in this moment as you're leaning into the mirror. And now, take your right hand, step back from the mirror just a little bit, and take your right hand and wipe it across the mirror as if you are wiping something away, as if you're cleaning that mirror. And as you begin to wipe the mirror with your hand, you'd notice that there are waves which are being created on the surface of this mirror. And they look like ripples of water, as if the mirror has turned liquid somehow. And maybe we can smoothen out these waves with the palm of our hand, the right hand if we want to, or we allow for them to settle. And now notice the color of the light that emerges from beneath those waves. Notice the color of that light. Notice the color of the light that emerges from the waves. Notice whether it is matte or shiny. If it's just a mass and it does not have a shape, or it does have a shape, doesn't matter. This. And you can make it as detailed as possible. You can, if somebody's light has tiny little stars on it, tiny little sprinkles in it, like it's you. This too is you. This is the ruh of you. This is the energetic body of you. This energetic body that you've had to wipe away an external mirror for it to be revealed. This energetic body is also you. It's in fact originally you, who happens to be wearing the garment of this skin, which we call the body, which we are really invested in, and rightfully so, because this body is the kingdom that houses this light. Subhanallah, it's a beautiful kingdom that houses this light. And most of us are good caretakers of our bodies. Hold the light in your gaze right now, the one that has emerged from the mirror. In most instances, we are good caretakers of our bodies. We put it to sleep. Notice what we're doing here right now. We don't go to sleep. We put our bodies to sleep. We give it a shower. We feed it. We clothe it prettily because Allah loves Husn. Allah does. Allah loves these garments have been given to us as our ornaments. Allah, ones that please the eye, Allah said. Beautiful. So we clothe this body. Then we put nice colors on it. We hang beautiful jingly, tingly, tangly things with it, which is what our jewelry is. And we massage it. And then we take it places. We expose it to the sun sometimes, or we keep it cool when it's really hot. Then when the body is getting a little shrivelly, we get our child or our partner or our parents or our friends to hold us really tight so the body fills up again. But in this moment is where I want you to focus. When your body is feeling lonely, is it your body that's feeling lonely? And when the body is being hugged, you have fed it well, you've taken it for a massage, you've given beautiful music to its ears, you've been looking at a beautiful garden, you've been feeding it really well so far. Is your body that's feeling lonely right now? Because it doesn't need anything. It's a pretty well-nourished body right now. Who is the one that's feeling lonely? When you ask your child for a hug, or your partner to hold your hand or to hold you, or your mother or your father for a hug, or your friend, I need a hug. Who is it beyond your body that needs it? And this who is the ruh of you, your energetic space, your energetic body, your light that lives within you. And this light needs food, nutrition that's different from that of your body. It needs a different, because it is not of this world. It has for a little while inhabited this meat suit, beautiful, pretty meat suit, because it wanted to experience love of its creator by being on through this meat suit. And so it is. But it is still not from here. It's still a traveler from this world. Is body ki ghaza is dunya mein hai. You have the meat and you have the vegetables and you have the sun, you have the flowers, And you have many different kinds of support systems in the ecological body of this world to support you. But इस रूह की ग़ज़ा, actually इस रूह की ग़ज़ा भी इसी दुनिया में है, but it's not the same as of your body. And the primary ग़ज़ा of this ruh is love. And its primary interaction with the concept of love is through other people. And so now I want us to visualize कि जो रूह है जो इस जिस्म में आई है और जो रूह का एक, you've seen your रूह just now in the mirror. Hold that रूह within you. This is the रूह that you had when you just opened your eyes when you were a little child. You had just exited your mother's womb, and this is the light. And this, they looked at a child opening its eyes. You know that it was this you, this yellow you or blue you, who opened its eyes and looked through the eyes of this body at the world. Because the eyes of this Ruh sees universes. It needed these telescopic lens to be able to focus its gaze on the 3D aspect of this room. So this Ruh opened up, this beautiful one that you're holding in your gaze is the one looked up, and it opened its eyes. And it began to look for love because we are forever. We came here to experience the love of our Creator. And from the moment that we are born, from our first cry, we are forever looking for love. There is no shame in it. There is no pride in loneliness. There is no shame in the fact that you came to this world looking for love. And the Creator whose love you're looking for, because He is the one who has husn of such level, subhanallah, because He knows you so beautifully, He scattered Himself in the millions of people in this world. He gave a little bit of Himself to your mother and to your father and to your siblings, to your friends, to your neighbors, to your ice cream wala, to your chai wala, to this beautiful Babaji. He gave Himself to the trees that you love and to the birds' song that you hear. He gave Himself to the rivers that you love to hear the sound of. He scattered Himself to the whole universe, to the gajar that you like to have, to the roti that you cannot live without, even when you're doing gluten-free. He gave Himself up to this whole entire world because He knew that Madiha is looking for me. And He wanted to ensure कि कहीं ये ना हो कि वो मुझे ढूंढ ना पाए. So I will give myself to everything of beauty in this world so that she can always find her way back to me. Because it's my promise to her, I will never leave her alone. And because not only will I never leave her alone, because this is meant to be her adventure. The Ruh has gone to find through the telescopic eyes and the earpod ears. Otherwise, Ruh, Arwah, and Ruh who are used to getting the inputs and signals from cosmoses right now need these telescopes, need these AirPods, need these one mouthpieces, need these hypersensitive tendons, graspers, hooks called hands, to be able to experience the love of their Creator. So this is our beginning, and then we begin to look for love. Although Allah has put Him in the whole entire universe, we begin to look for love as those lights, blue sparkly light that I am. I'm looking for love. And I began to look from love, first of all, from my parents. Other lights They're not my parents, other Ruh, right? Other lights. But chunke those lights have lived in this world for a while, and they have also looked for love, mostly not found it. And where they have, they've held on to that love so strongly that it has scarred their own hands. For dear life, they've held on to the little piece of love that they've found. That by this time, the lights that they were born with, that they do have scratches on them, have gaps, have जिस तरह किसी ने खरूंडे मारे होते बिल्ली ने, have scratches on them. And there are holes in that light. There are holes in that light. There are scratches on that light. And so this beautiful, powerful light that my parents have been born with have holes and scratches on them. And I'm looking for love from them, from those lights, from those lights. And my light is full right now. Like it has no hole, there's no scratch. The thing with a whole energy, with a scratched energy field, which is inevitable, by the way, because as is true of what they say, कि आप अगर एक कपड़ा सफेद है और एक आप गंदे बाजार से गुजर रहे हो, and गंदे not in a bad way, गंदे just from the nature of the bazaar, धूल है, मिट्टी है, लोग काम कर रहे हैं, लाइफ है, it is what it is. तो एक सफेद आपने बिल्कुल कलफ वाले कपड़े लगा के आप उस बाजार से गुजर रहे हो और आपका कपड़े सफेद नहीं रह सकते. If you've been walking in that bazaar for a long time, it's just not going to be possible. So let's give that up. तो उनके पास scratches लगे हुए हैं. अब जब scratches लगे हुए हैं, and this is now the nature of their energetic shield, right? An energetic body right now. It's a scratched energetic body. The thing is, when it first began to get scratched at the beginning of their life, not only, and you know that with holes, it's a two-way road then. Not only did the original excitement and the love that they had come into this world with, like this pure life force, this pure vital life energy, not only did it begin to leak out of those energetic scratches, also because the nature of energy is there is no such thing as an empty space. So as soon as that vital life force began to leak out, what was not vital life force also began to get attracted, like germs do to damp spaces or to dry spaces. It began to get attracted towards those cracks, and it entered through those cracks. And so now there is an exit point and an entry point, an exit point and an entry point through those cracks. And चूंकि वो दरवाजे जो शुरू में शायद नैरो थे, but उसमें बहुत अब ट्रैफिक अंदर और अंदर बाहर जा रही है, अब वो दरवाजे थोड़े वाइड होते जा रहे हैं, उनके cracks वाइड होते जा रहे हैं. And the effect of this energetic body on your physical body, because ये light का घर है, हमारी body इस light का घर है. अगर उस घर में रहने वाला इज डिप्रेस्ड, तो घर की क्या हालत होगी? You do the math. We've all been there. Forget seeing people. If most of us probably been there, you know what that room looks like. So अगर ये क्रैक छलनी एनर्जेटिक फील्ड है और उसकी जो बॉडी है obviously will begin to tell signs of that this is a cracked chalni field. The body will begin to tell signs of it. The first one is your tongue. Your tongue will begin to speak signs of it, either silence or poison. Your hands will begin to tell signs of it, because that wounded energetic body, and feel into it, या तो वो लाइट ना होती तो अब उसको लाइट ना होने का दुख भी ना होता. But because it is light, because it knows what it feels like to be beautiful and full and loved and whole, it knows where it comes from. It knows that it's wounded. It knows that there is the light leaking out. It knows that there's stuff that they do not need coming in. They know this coming and going, the traffic. They are aware of this traffic. This extreme distress that this energetic body is in is what keeps us stuck in a moment in our body as well. Whether that stuckness looks like, again, a relationship or a disease or depression or whatever it is. But essentially, we are always, ever responding to the health of our energetic body, which right now is scratched and has a vital life force oozing out, and the outer forces coming in. Now, this Chalni energetic field also, by the way, believes in nazar, because I feel like it's an important point to bring this up. Also believes in jadoo. Also believes in the fact that uski kismat kharab hai. Also believes in the fact that मतलब कोई karma चल रहा है इस energetic body के, ये सारे belief systems बन जाते हैं. They're not wrong, because essentially at a physical, if there was ever an energetic physical level, at a tangible, at an energetic physical level, what's happening is, because there is no such thing as an empty space. And the moment that they're losing out on their vital life force, something must enter. Now that something that must enter, think of it as घर के अंदर एक देग पकी हुई है और उसकी खूबसूरत खुशबुएं आ रही हैं, और बाहर कोई भूखे लोग बैठे हैं. And I don't want to call them लोग हों, जानवर हों, हैवान हों. For me, there's one. भूखे creatures बैठे हैं. Let's call them that. भूखे creatures बैठे हैं. उनको उसकी खुशबू आ रही है, but अभी देग पकी नहीं है. So they can smell the fact and they can see the fact कि यहाँ के ऊपर जो है ये इनकी छलनी energetic shield है. They can see it, they can smell it, they can almost taste it, but they don't have an, उनको अंदर से खुशबू आ रही है, but they don't have an entry way for it. Until, and that's the beauty of this, and the power, the only power they have, until this person says, I don't have what it takes. I feel like I'm going to allow what is outside to come in because I'm not worthy anymore. This is the opening for them to come in. Their own belief of this energetic field. The fact that this energetic field was chalni is still not the reason of why a lower vibration energy, or what we call nazar, or what we call jadoo, or any other form of disruption in your entry, outside interference, let's call it outside interference in your energy field. No outside interference of your energy field is possible until you say that it's possible. Even if you have the most bullet-ridden like energy shield in the world, even then, nobody is allowed to come near it. They can smell it, they can circle around, but they can't enter it. That means जब आपको लगता है कि नजर बरहक है तो वो बरहक हो जाती है. जब आपको लगता है, and जादू का in fact जादू is stemming from the original power that was given, both nazar, जादू and all the lower vibrations stemming from the original power that's given to Iblis, which is what, and all of his followers, which is what, waswasa, whisper. It's a whisper. And of course, he is like the power, the whispers live in the same marshland of our body. If our body were a marshland of reeds, then the whispers would live there. But our light is behind that marshland, you see? Like our light is here and there's a marshland of our body around it. The whispers can only reach our light, when our energetic field is chalni, and second, when the reeds part to make way for the whispers to go into that light. There is no other entry field. You still have to invite the vampire in. Beautiful analogies at all. You still have to invite them in. Even when they're right outside the door knocking, you still have to give them permission to come in. Now, how do we, so when a child is looking for love from that chalni energetic field and not getting it, and by that time, wo chalni energetic field ke, because we don't want to die, because we're built with an amazing defense mechanism. So especially when we feel our energy field is tattered beyond belief, we grow our own fangs. And it is these fangs that we then enter into relationships, into life with. And those fangs have been developed to make some kind of a poultry defense mechanism against the कि ज़्यादा अंदर मेरे और ज़्यादा छलनी ना हो जाए. Still poultry, but admirable because we still want to live. So वो fangs हम लोगों ने develop उसे हम लोग खरूंदे like we scratch people with it. Or sometimes those fangs, sometimes the fangs are of the heart, of the hand, sometimes the fangs are of the mouth. My God, how we can scratch people with our words. MashaAllah, I've had both of those gifts. Auzubillah, but also MashaAllah, like I've had them. Kya kare? Yeah. You can just, or sometimes the fangs are in your mind, the way you can plot and connive and maneuver. But we develop those fangs. Now, these fangs, and here's the thing, we think we have them in our control, but we don't, because once our energetic field is crashed and we have developed the fangs to protect the tattered part of our energy field, we don't have control. We believe we do, but we don't have control of when and where those fangs come up. We feel, nay, they are only for my office people. We feel they're only for that group of friends. We feel it's only for my, I don't know, my whatever persona that I'm adopting in my life. But those fangs are persistently, they get into habit of being there, and we end up scratching the people that we love deeply with them. And when we scratch people that we love deeply, because they are not tree barks who would allow themselves to be scratched at, they develop counter fangs. And now you see what's happening, even in one household, even if you're sleeping on the same bed with your partner, essentially, we are fanged creatures, scratching each other. Or with our children. When the fangs come out, they come out. Or with our friends, when the fangs come out, they come out. That's who we are, fang creatures. And there's a way of filling those gaps, of healing those gaps. I don't want to call them healing, because healing feels there's something wrong with them. But I do want to call them gaps, because they are gaps, because this is beautiful, because I've been struggling with light and shadow concept for such a long time, because I refuse to demonize shadows. I can't do it, and I will not do it, and it's not done also, because it's from the shadows as light, etc., night and day, yin and yang, and all of that. But I've heard this such a beautiful hadith the other day, a narration of a hadith the other day, and in the explanation that ulama was talking about, कि देखो, we are sockets. हम हैं, we are electromagnetic fields, हम हैं sockets, हमारे अंदर input आना है. तो जब एक input नहीं होगा, which is a divine input, अगर उस सॉकेट खाली है और उसमें अगर एक प्लग नहीं लगा हुआ, दूसरा प्लग फौरन लग जाएगा. बिकॉज सॉकेट खाली नहीं हो सकता. there's no such thing as an empty space, it's all energy. So our purpose then is to, वो explain कर रहे थे, हमारा purpose ये है कि हम लोग इस सॉकेट को divine plug के साथ भर के रखें. And divine plug is exactly what the hadith we narrated in the beginning of this session was. In the 3 years of drought, when there is no food, when there is no water, when Allah Ta'ala has commanded the sky and the earth to hold back its provisions, 1/3 in year 3, 2/3 in year 2, all of it in the last year. And the Sahabi asked, how are we going to feed ourselves? And he said, so the zikr of Allah, la ilaha illallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. And they will be enough for you, like food is enough for you. Subhanallah. The time of when this will happen, not if, when this will happen, when Roze Qiyamah will happen. The time is inevitable. And we know that that's where we are headed. And we know that with each generation, there is an evolution or the next step that we are taking as far as the eyes can see? What if we were to apply the same principle to the soul? कि आहिस्ता आहिस्ता हम अपने आप को, अपनी रूहों को भरने की आदत डाल रहे हैं, अपनी जनरेशंस को अपनी रूहों को भरने की आदत डाल रहे हैं, so that although it's a very small point to go with, but it just still makes sense, such that at the time that when there is literally, like when the bodies, we want to reach a point where body does not need to be fed as much as the soul does. Like you can go through roza, but you can't go through quitting namaz. It's okay to not feed your body sometimes, but it's not okay, depending on whatever form. So this namaz used to be my personal trigger point. Okay, you're saying namaz is the only way, and now you're saying namaz, and now you're telling me you say namaz, and now you want me to say namaz, and I will not say namaz. It made me go into a rebellion phase for like 4 years. Let me qualify. Whatever form of zikr we have chosen to hang on to, because Allah is my witness. For the first, I've only been, anyway, it doesn't matter about my namaz, but there are different beautiful kinds of zikr that you can hold on to, because zikr is zikr is zikr is zikr is zikr. Because the idea is to get the plugged into your socket, and for your socket not to be empty. So the concept here is to feed your soul, and not just to feed your soul to prepare yourself for when your bodies will need food and there won't be any, but how your soul nourishment not just nourishes your soul, but it is the drip. It is that morphine drip or that healing drip or whatever those like healing medications are that drips onto your wounds. And little by little, whether we realize it or not, they begin to, with each form of zikr, it begins to stitch up the wound. Automatically, जैसा कि surgeon टांके लगाते हैं ना wound के ऊपर, वो खुद ब खुद वो wound जो है उस जिक्र से, it feels like बंजर जमीन के ऊपर बारिश, और it feels like कि अगर छलनी हुआ है, कोई लोथड़ा है हमारा energetic field, light kick field है, which is all bullet ridden and scarred, and it's a very delicate filament, right? It's a very delicate filament. Very delicate filament of light. It needs a special kind of needle. And that special kind of needle is zikr. And by the way, Allah Ta'ala has spoken of that in Surah Ar-Ra'd. He says, not because we are given like wazaif and like do this and do that. Allah says, the soul is fed with the zikr of Allah. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Or sukoon ki to hum sabko talash hai. Surah Ar-Ra'd, the remembrance, zikr of Allah. Zikr is remembrance. And so how do we feed this? First of all, we begin to see ourselves in the light that we are, which is housing currently in a body. And wherever we are in our life, no matter how evolved and how healed we think we are, or completely wounded that we are, you pull up the reflection of your light and see it, hold it in front of you, and see where it's bullet ridden. And know that the light that's bullet ridden has been a result of all the places that you've been looking for love in, that's given you scars. And as a result, maybe you have developed sharper fangs or more subtle, like more blunt fangs, but you've developed them. And that has caused your heart, your energy field to be open to outside interferences. And those outside interferences are, because those outside interferences, power is only that of vasvasa, but vasvasa can be a very powerful power, because vasvasa is never a blanket vasvasa. Mera vasvasa will be very different from Maha's, will be very different from Sophia's. Very, very, very different. I'm going to give it credit. It's a customized vasvasa. अगर मदीहा को गुर्बत का डर है, तो उसको तकलीफ होगी हर दफा सदका देने से, हर दफा सदका देने से, because she has experienced it. So they will bring back. Yeah, if Madiha has experienced the wounds of betrayal, every time her friend will like say something, the Vaspa would say, is she trying to pull that one on you? So the Vasvasa is very, and then I will act from a place of my wounds. And when I act from a place of my wounds, when we talk about the fact that we have to take care of our soul terrain, when we act from a place of our wounds, we develop fangs and we hurt people we love. The people we scratch the first are the people that we love the most. So it's not just your relationship with Allah and, oh my God, you're a seeker looking for love from Allah and we have to take care of our soul. No, because our soul terrains not being taken care of has resulted in our houses, which look like the way they look like. I don't need to say anything else about how our homes look like. The distances that we have between the hearts. We have to shout. And again, remember we've seen this video and reel also. People who are angry at each other, they're shouting so loud because the other just cannot hear them. Cannot hear them, not their words. Cannot hear them. बहुत दूर है हम सब एक दूसरे से, क्योंकि ये डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म्स है, हमारे फैंग्स निकले हैं. So the taking care of our soul terrain affects our relationships. And how this soul terrain gets further affected, other than ab hamare hai, this is life has happened, circumstances has happened. But as a result of, so these are the wounds given as a result of relationships, as a result of life is one aspect. But then we choose to further exacerbate it by changing the cycles, the way that we live. So Allah has told you that when you want to find out about my balance and about who I am, look at how the night descends into, how the night is descends or taken out. However, look at the cycle of the night and day. Look at how each place has its own balance. Look at how when you wake up with the sun, you work with the sun, you come back home, try not to go out at night. The cycles of the rhythms of the world that we are born in. Because these bodies have been made for this world. So there are two ways of looking after the soul terrain. The first one, of course, is inside out. The inside out way, of course, is zikr. And zikr is remembrance. The inside out way is zikr. So the remembrance of Allah in the way that you speak to your parents, in the way that you cook your food, in the way that you wake up in the morning, in the way that you look at a tree, in the way that you stop for the call of a bird, in the way that you call up a friend, in the way that you keep your mouth shut, in the way that you speak when you should, in the way that if you're walking too strong or too loud, you deliberately slow down your steps and you deliberately madham your walk. In the way if you find your voice rising, all of this is zikr of Allah. In all of these moments, and of course the zikr of Allah is then the tasbih that we do, and of course the zikr of Allah is all the other ibadah that we do. But in every instance, we are softening ourselves in any way. We are softening the earth of us in any way from inside out. We are healing our soul terrain. And the easiest way to soften the terrain of your soul is through the barish. Isn't it so beautiful? Now look at the analogy. जब वो हदीस की बात की है, उन्होंने अल्लाह ने कहा है मैं आसमान को और मैं जमीन को कह दूंगा कि अपनी प्रोविजंस मत दे. और जिक्र ऐसे है जैसे बंजर जमीन पे बारिश गिर रही है. What? So already we are cultivating the terrains of our soul with zikr. And zikr, as we know, the softening of the zameen with the barish, the zikr ki barish is pyar ki barish for your children, for your partners, for your neighbors, for your community as well, for forbearance ki barish, forgiveness ki barish, kindness ki barish, silence ki barish, खूबसूरती की बारिश, फिर हमद की बारिश और तस्बीह की बारिश और नमाज की बारिश और नवाफिल की बारिश और कुरान की हर किस्म की बारिश बरहक है. This is the inside way of healing your soul terrain, but there is an outside in way of healing your soul terrain as well, because the body is not separate from the soul. Na? The body may have been a suit that you decided to wear as light when you first came in, but it has spent enough time with you to know you intimately and to know how to serve you and to know how to serve you. But for that, you need to allow your body to lead you into places where the body has its own wisdom it's trying for you to exercise. So body's wisdom would say, I need the sun. Body's wisdom at the very basics, the body wisdom would say, I need more water in me. I am water. I want to charge my water with sun, with the photons of the sun. Body wisdom would say, give me more produce from the earth. Feed me better. Feed me with stuff that feels whole, that I can taste the earth through. Feed me with that food. And as the outside way in of healing the soul terrain is equal, but the body would say, take me for a walk. And interestingly, in stages of healing, both are equally so beautiful. In one instance, your body is assigning itself to be your protector and your guide, saying, I will take care of you, soul. I know that you're hurting. Let me take care of you. So a body that wants to rest for a long time, it's a body wisdom. A body that wants to lie in darkness sometimes because it just needs that cocoon warmth. It's the feeling of the cocoon heart earth of the mother earth. It wants to feel that way. And so it will lie here in darkness for 2 to 3 days, but then it'll go out in the sun. Follow the wisdom of your body, because in this moment, in this stage of healing, still the soul terrain. Healing phir bhi soul terrain ki ho rahi hai. The body is leading. But sometimes the body is tired and it shows up in dis-ease. Sometimes we have chronic illnesses. Sometimes we have things that we develop and we choose to live with because we feel that's the way it is. But know that it's still your soul terrain in dis-ease. And in this moment, the body is not strong enough to take care of you. And that's when, see how it's beautiful partnership taking turns. That's when the soul, which even in its started state, is still very, very powerful. And even in its started state is still capable of taking care of the body. The body in its started state is not capable of taking care of the soul, but the soul in its started state is still, because it is divine. Because there is still an umbilical cord, no matter how tattered it is, till its last breath, there is still an umbilical cord jiski divine nutrition uske through serve ho rahi hai. The soul is still capable of taking care of the body. So when the body is in dis-ease, you let the soul take over. And the soul will tell you how, and soul will tell you where and what. And it is such a deep personalized wisdom that the soul will bring to your body to heal, that you don't need to ask another person कि आपको कौन सी आया recite करनी चाहिए, आपको कौन सा zikr करना चाहिए. Your zikr just may be growing plants, guys. It really may be growing that plant with the reverence of the fact there is life growing from dead earth. And there is the one who is enabling this beach, this seed to sprout. And that same one has created you. And he will enable, and he is enabling, as you are helping this seed sprout, he is enabling the seeds of beautiful light within me, new seeds, young, fresh, ripe seeds to sprout within you, to heal your body for you. As you are the gardener upon his universe, he is the gardener upon yours. So in this moment, when the body is in dis-ease, let your soul guide you. And your soul will always know more than your YouTube video teachers or your Zoom class teachers or any session that you're in. Your soul will always know more. And how you're led to that wisdom is you end up showing up in places where somebody says something, maybe it's the name of Allah, an ayah, a surah, a specific kind of zikr, या उनको जाके वहाँ पे जाके देख पकानी, उस soup kitchen में आपने खाना बनाना, it just makes sense for you. Like आप सारी चीजें करके, हाँ, I will make time for it. You have no time for anything else, perhaps, but this, it just works out for you. That is when your soul is taking care of you. But to live in awareness of the light that we are is the practice that we're going to have to get into the practice of. And again, it sounds weird and delusional when you speak like this, but we do speak like, I know at least one, Shashi just left, so I know at least two other people who speak like this, which is like the light of me is not feeling lit enough right now. I will not be coming. We do speak like the, I'm not, my heart is feeling, my soul is feeling bruised right now. Or I'm not being able to, the way that you express it, I'm not being able to hear the song of the bird. I will sleep so that my body wakes up to it. It's the way that you speak, because you are a light inhabiting a human body. And sometimes the body needs to lead you, and sometimes the soul needs to lead you. At all times, we are asked to take care of our soul, to feed our soul as deliberately, जैसे हमारे lunch hours fixed हैं, जैसे हमारा breakfast, lunch, evening hour fixed है. Soul की feeding hours क्या हैं? What are the feeding hours of your soul? And we've been given those if you want to go the conventional route, or we can, your soul is so beautiful and so unique and so vast, but the conventional route is morning askar, is subah ka breakfast. घर से निकलने से पहले is your protein on the go milkshake. Like there are different ways. There's a lunch for the soul, which is knowledge दो अपने आप को. फिर बीच में आपको obviously नमाज जो है is custom designed for whatever resonates for you. But these are all ways, these are like feeding stations for the soul. But the more deliberately we approach them as feeding stations of the soul, the stronger our light has a chance to heal. And that's all we can do anyway, right? We can only ever give ourselves a chance to heal. We're not the healers. We're giving ourselves a chance to heal. And in us giving ourselves the chance to heal, we heal inevitably. Inevitably. This practice of looking into the mirror and blurring your human image, which is so beautiful and so beloved and so familiar and so honored. But अभी मुझे पीछे भी इसके देखने. So wipe off your mask and see, allow the light of you. And then you'd notice कि ये नहीं है, because again, as ego cells, we like to get attached to one form of the light. The color, don't get attached to the color of your light. Oh, मुझे आज अपनी light नहीं दिख रही because कल मैं blue थी और आज मैं yellow हूँ. Allow for your light to surprise you, to change for you, which is how we allow ourselves to change, make different choices. We don't have to get stuck. We don't have to hold on to one identity of ours. We don't have to hold on to one thing. Allow yourselves to be flexible. But you will recognize the light of you as it comes up in that mirror, whichever color it looks like, whatever, however it smells. And by the way, this light is what leaves your body. This light is not, it's not a visualization that I'm asking you to do. In another hadith, in fact, it's in Quran and hadith also, कि हर रूह मौत का जायका चखेगी. They will taste death. This light is not, it has a form, it has a being, it has a taste. And if it's healthy, and we know what a healthy body smells like, you know, flora and all of that. We know what a healthy body smells like. We know what the taste of a healthy fruit is as well. And we know what a rotten fruit smells like. And we know what the smell of a rotten wound is. So in this health of our light, as we, हर soul, हर रूह, हर नफ्स अपनी मौत का जायका चखेंगे, हर इंसान अपनी मौत का जायका चखेंगे. So we are, when we work on the ruh of us, on the light of us, it's a healthy exit, you know. And in another hadith, it's been spoken of where when a healthy soul exits the body, who's been in the business of taking care of the soul terrain, there's a beautiful fragrance that precedes them all the way to the heavens. And the angels announce that this soul has exited the body. But when another one does, there's a putrid, I don't want to say putrid because it's such a harsh judgmental, there's a smell. मतलब एक जख्म में से भी तो smell आती है ना, अगर उसके पास पड़ी. There's a smell. There is a smell. And the state of the ruh as it exits the body is the state of the ruh as it lives in our body. And there is a shampoo for the ruh, which is zikr. And there is a kangi for the ruh. There's a perfume for the ruh. Perfume for the ruh is Allah, like Allah ka naam is perfume, khushboo aati hai aapke andar se. The zaika of the ruh is the rood. मीठी होते हैं आप, मीठा मिठास आती है आपके अंदर. The softness of the ruh is your expression of love. In the way that you speak, in the way that you smile, in your eyes. This is the softness of ruh, how you show up. And then another beautiful softness and the smoothness of the ruh is how your integrity, how you show up as you are. मुझे अभी दर्द हो रहा है, मैं आपसे बात नहीं करना चाहती हूँ. I love you, मुझसे अभी बात नहीं हो रही है. मेरे अंदर दर्द हो रहा है. Speak of the pain. Speak of the pain. Integrity of the ruh. You are smoothening the texture. जैसे एक horse को stable में करने से पहले आप उसको brush down करते हो ना. You're smoothening the texture of this ruh by speaking yourself into. You're speaking your integrity to life. ये मुझे गुस्सा आ रहा है इस वक्त, अभी आप चले जाओ यहाँ पे, और मेरा अपने ही बूंद मुझे नजर आ रहा है, इसी वजह से मुझे गुस्सा आ रहा है, मैं आपको हर्ट करूंगी, चले जाओ. पूरी कहानी सुनाओ यार. Say it, so that there is less friction between the ruh that we hold, the light that we hold within ourselves, and the bodies which are inhabiting it. जब हम लोग अपनी रूह की इंटेग्रिटी से बात करते हैं तो सरफेस कैसे होती है स्मूथ रूह की, क्योंकि बॉडी और ये आपस में ऐसे क्लैश नहीं कर रहे थे. बॉडी कह रही होती है आई हेट इट, आई हेट इट, आई हेट इट, सॉरी रूह कह रही होती है आई हेट इट, आई हेट इट, आई हेट इट, और बॉडी कहती है नहीं नहीं हम लोग पार्टी पे जा रहे हैं. सख्त फ्रिक्शन हो रही होती है यहाँ पे. या हम लोग उस टी पे आज जरूर जाएंगे बिकॉज बस बहुत बुरा लगेगा मैंने ना किया तो. या आई नीड टू गिव 5 minutes टू माई सन राइट नाउ बिकॉज ही इज रियली आस्किंग फॉर इट, बट आई डोंट हैव द स्पेस, बट आई रियली नीड टू डू इट because otherwise I'm a bad mother. Whatever the situation may be, there's a friction between your room. But when you speak with our integrity, you're taking care of your soul terrain. And your soul, your body immediately relaxes because the body doesn't have to fight for doing something that you didn't want to do. You see, your body relaxes when you, and then the texture of the soul is at all times, like, I don't know, some in very creepy way, this wig is coming to mind. How when somebody's really attached to a wig, they like really take care of it, and they like brush it and like really shampoo it and have like a that thing that they put it on, वो जो होता है, जो भी होता है mannequin का जो होता है उसके ऊपर रखते हैं, like that. We're very used to grooming our bodies. Yeah, I feel like that's what it may be. We're very used to grooming our bodies, but equally in the same spaces. If you're having breakfast for the body, what's your breakfast for the soul? If you are having lunch for your body, what's your lunch for the soul? अगर खाली न्यूट्रिशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से डिवाइड करना है, अगर आपने फ्रॉम अ प्लेजर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से डिवाइड करना है, तो यू आर प्लीजिंग द बॉडी. हाउ आर यू प्लीजिंग योर सोल? Your body is interested, how is your soul interested? Because body is leading you towards the senses, right? And also in this, by asking this question in every moment, I want to buy this 15th bag that I have. How's it serve? It's serving my closet, it's serving my body, it's serving my senses. How's it serving your soul? It really helps us keep in check, because at all times we're not blocking the soul from our bodily experience. We're getting it on a con call at all points. At all points, get your soul on a con call, especially before making big decisions, which we can always, in any case, only do when we are in the habit of getting our souls on a con call on the small decisions as well. And all of this is only possible when we realize that we are lights inhabiting bodies. And it is our job to take care of the terrain of our soul in as much as we're committed to taking care of the terrain of our bodies. Okay, so thank you. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.